Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got breaking news coming out from Israel to share with you. So, today, numerous mainstream news outlets are reporting that Israel is ready to strike back against Iran. We've been waiting for several weeks now to figure out what Israel's going to do. How are they going to retaliate for the attack that happened on October 1st? 2024, we had upwards of almost 200 ballistic missiles, maybe more, that were fired from Iran, striking Israel heavily. We covered that weeks back when that happened. Definitely a major attack from Iran. So it looks like Israel is ready to go, and this strike is expected to be coming very soon. We have a report here that reads that this attack is expected to come before U.S. elections, and U.S. elections are going to be held on November 5th. Okay, so that's roughly about 2 to 3 weeks of a window that we're expecting Israel to strike back against Iran. Now, what are they going to do? Are they going to target their oil and gas industry? Are they going to target their military facilities or maybe their nuclear facilities? We really don't know what's going to happen here. Some U.S. officials were citing recently over the last 3 or 4 days that Israel was only going to attack their military sites, not their oil and gas industry or their nuclear sites. But we had some reports coming out yesterday that there was some sort of fire at an oil refinery inside of Iran, and we don't know exactly how that happened. I'm going to show you guys the video footage of that, as obviously I was not here yesterday. Unfortunately, I had some important things I had to take care of, but I want to show you guys that video footage coming out from there yesterday. And then also today, what's being reported is there was an oil spill off of Iran's Karg Island, okay? And Karg Island is they have a major oil refinery there, and is definitely one of their largest, where they produce lots of oil for their country. Looks like there was some sort of oil spill that's reported there today, and Iranian authorities are working to control that spill. So I'm not sure if these are some sort of attacks that are coming from Israel already and causing some sort of sabotage in their country. Who knows what's happening, but the timing of these events are definitely interesting nonetheless. And then I've also got some reports to show you guys that numerous C-17 cargo planes coming from the U.S. and multiple countries around the world, mainly NATO nations or Western partners to Israel, sending aid over to Israel. And we know that the THAAD missile defense system is supposed to be already stationed in Israel right now as well. So numerous things we're going to talk about today. Let's go ahead and dive into the news and start discussing this. I have this report from New York Post that we're going to go over briefly. It says Israel is ready to strike back at Iran, and American officials expect attack before presidential election. Okay, this just coming out today, October 16th, 2024. And it says here Israel's counterstrike plans against Iran are ready, and American officials expect the attack to happen before the U.S. election, according to a report. A retaliatory strike from Israel in response to Iran's massive ballistic missile barrage against the Jewish state earlier this month could put the growing conflict in the Middle East front and center for U.S. voters before they head to the ballots on November 5th. Isn't that interesting? Why does it have to happen right before the elections, and why are they stating that this strike is expected to come before the election? Like, what does the elections have to do with them striking inside of Iran? It's definitely interesting, the timing of this, and hopefully we don't have a full regional war breaking out in the Middle East prior to the elections even being taken place, and hopefully we don't have any cancellation or anything that could affect the elections moving forward, right? That could obviously be a bad thing. A source told CNN that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu closely follows U.S. politics, and that the timing Israel's military response is not directly tied to the U.S. election because he's worried about the political implications for Israel. It says here Israel's strike on Iran would be done in a way to avoid the political interference in the U.S. elections. And another source familiar with the matter told the Washington Post on Tuesday. Okay, so very, very interesting, the information that's coming out here in regard to the strike that's supposed to be coming onto Iran. And it really makes you wonder, what is Israel going to do? They're definitely sending out a lot of mixed signals on what they're planning to carry out onto Iran. Obviously, we know it's going to be something significant. And is it going to be some sort of airstrike? Or maybe it's not going to be some sort of airstrike. Maybe it's going to be something completely different that we're not expecting, similar to what we saw happening in Lebanon recently, where we had these pagers exploding. and radios and all kinds of electronic devices. It definitely seems like we're going to see something more along the lines of that, something that's going to be completely unexpected and not necessarily an airstrike, but who knows what's going to happen. It could be an airstrike. Israeli President Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed that Iran will pay for the October 1st missile attack, but assured President Biden last week that the Israeli Defense Force's response would be limited to military targets rather than oil refineries or nuclear plants. Okay, so that's what I was talking to you guys about earlier, that we're only expecting military targets to be attacked, but who really knows what's going to happen here? Also, it says the Harris-Biden administration had publicly stated their opposition to an Israeli strike on Tehran's oil and nuclear sites, fearing it could spark all-out war in the region. We listen to opinions of the United States, but we make our final decisions based on our national interests, is what Netanyahu's office said in response to that. Okay, so that means that nuclear sites and oil and gas industry targets are not off the menu, is what it looks like to me. That really they could take any kind of response that they feel is necessary to defend their own nation. Other countries in the Middle East have also urged Israel to avoid targeting Iran's oil fields, as it could cause a spike in oil prices. Analysts have speculated higher gas prices, which voters have historically blamed on the party in power, could hurt Vice President Kamala Harris in the election. Okay, so yeah, it definitely could. If this goes south, obviously President Biden and Kamala Harris have been supporting Israel all this time, and if this attack ends up causing major repercussions or a major war over here in the Middle East, obviously that could look bad on Kamala Harris going into the elections in November as well. So this could definitely have some negative impacts on some of the political things that are happening inside of the United States and the elections, obviously. So definitely a lot hangs in the balance here, and a lot could be happening and coming from this. And then obviously the worst thing could be is a major war in the Middle East, and with the U.S. being involved in that, we could eventually be even leading to World War III, which is probably the most dangerous situation coming from all of this. Okay, so I'm going to cite that down below, and you guys can read that some more. It'll be in the description for you of this video if you want to read the rest of that article. But we're going to move on to some X posts now, and then I also have a very short mainstream news article coming from Reuters as well regarding the oil spill at Karg Island today. Okay, so let's hop on over to X now. Vicegrad 24. 2 additional U.S. military transport planes have landed in southern Israel. These are the 6th and 7th C-17s delivering air defense equipment and American personnel in the past 24 hours, with more expected to arrive soon. Okay, so this was reported just today at 6 o'clock this morning, and we've been seeing lots of this over the last 24 to 48 hours. Is almost a dozen now of these C-17 cargo planes coming from the United States and also Europe, sending equipment over to Israel, potentially troops. We know that the THAAD air defense system is supposed to be sent over to Israel as well. At least one of those were sent, and also 100 U.S. troops are going to be manning that thing to operate it. So that's probably mostly what they're sending over here, but it makes you wonder if they're sending anything else. What else could they possibly be sending? Probably lots of Iron Dome air defense interceptors are probably being delivered as well. We heard some reports yesterday also that Israel was short on air defense. So obviously that could be a thing being sent over there. And then aside from that, who knows what? It could really be anything being deployed into Israel right now. And also a major war could be breaking out over here. So maybe the U.S. is preparing for that possibility as well. Okay, this was another report coming from Mech Ozint. RCH 163, 4 of the 8 C-17s landed in Nevatim Air Base. When the 8th arrives, 12 hours, we can consider Israel will be, in theory, ready to attack Iran. Okay, so this was some more information coming out prior to all these mainstream news articles coming out showing that Israel was ready to attack Iran. This was obviously preparation for that, as multiple sources were citing here on X that lots of C-17 cargo planes were heading over to Israel. Okay, so this is probably some of the last preparations to get ready for a major retaliation potentially coming from Iran, as well, as Iran has already come out and said if they come under attack in any way, especially if it's not a limited response, they will target Israel with thousands of ballistic missiles potentially. Okay, so also now we're going to jump over to Iran. briefly is I've got this video footage to show you guys of yesterday that this oil refinery had bursted into flames, and we don't know how this happened. Okay, Vice Grad 24 breaking: the Shushtar oil refinery in Iran has burst into flames. Okay, so just an 8-second clip of a major fire here at one of their oil refineries in Iran. So take a look. Okay, so we don't know exactly how this fire started, but obviously the timing of this is definitely very interesting. As we've been hearing a lot from Yoav Gallant, the defense minister of Israel, coming out and saying that their strike on Iran will be surprising, it will be precise, and they basically won't know what hit them. They're going to be confused at what's going on, apparently. This is supposed to be some sort of surprise attack onto Iran. And again, that's why we don't know exactly what's going to happen here. All we can really do is speculate at this time. But definitely something big is going to be coming, in my opinion, I think very soon. So now I want to briefly show you guys this report of Karg Island and this oil spill. Okay, Reuters reporting: Iran working to control oil spill off Karg Island, says IRNA news agency. Iranian authorities are working to control an oil spill 4 miles or 6.4 kilometers off Iran's Karg Island, the country's IRNA news agency reported on Wednesday. The leak from oil pipelines was reported on Sunday, and the required actions have been taken. RNA cited a local official as saying 2 other spots have been identified by drones. IRNA said, adding that procedures had been activated to stop the pollution spreading, and the situation was being continuously assessed. Iran is a member of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries with production of around 3.2 million barrels per day, or about 3% of global output. Most of Iran's oil and gas in the south of the country, where the Karg Island terminal is situated, and from which around 90% of Iranian oil exports are shipped. Okay, so this is a major exporting oil terminal at Karg Island, just off the coast of Iran. And yeah, looks like we had some sort of oil spill. I don't know how significant it was, but looks like there definitely was some sort of leak from their oil pipelines that was just reported today on October 16th, 2024. So I don't know if this is relating to Israel. Nobody's coming out and saying that it is, but the reason why I'm showing you this is the timing of this is very, very interesting. That it's right around this time that we're expecting this attack to come on Iran. I don't know if these are the beginning of this. All we can really do is speculate at this time, but these are definitely some interesting developments that are happening inside of Iran at this time. So just wanted to bring you some of the latest in regards to this story, that Israel's strike plans are definitely ready, and this attack is expected to come here in the next few weeks prior to the U.S. elections. Okay, so be prepared for this. We don't know how this is going to play out. Could this be something very significant that causes Iran to strike back on Israel? And if they do, does this turn into an all-out war, or does this just turn into some sort of tit-for-tat exchange for a little while and then it'll go away? Who knows what's going to happen, but I really think at some point this could definitely turn into a major war over here, and it seems like Israel and Iran are just ready to go at it. And with all these U.S. military assets over in the Middle East, could definitely drag the U.S. into this, and I'm sure they are concerned, which is why we are seeing so many troops stationed in the Middle East right now, along with all these warships and warplanes. So something big is coming, ladies and gentlemen. Just be prepared for it. Hopefully, we do not have a major war break out over here, though, and hopefully cooler heads prevail. But let's see what happens moving forward. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.